So Nosrat is a James Beard Award-winning chef and the best-selling author of Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat. Her new book out is Good Things. Why don't you take it away, Poppy?
Hi. Thank you
Hi,
so much for
Poppy.
your time today. When you started working at Chez Panisse, did you already have a solid foundation in the kitchen, or did you go there to learn from the best?
Well, when I first started working at Chez Panisse, it was sort of like a little bit of I don't know, an accident a little bit. Like I was in college and I had jobs all through college. So I applied to be a busser, bussing tables, and it wasn't anything to do with cooking. But I was so inspired by the cooks that I begged them to teach me. And so I had no foundation in cooking. I didn't even really know I was interested in cooking. I just knew I was interested in eating.
Great. Megan?
Thank you for your time today, Chef Samin. How do you begin to create a recipe? Where does this inspiration come from, and do you work out of a test kitchen?
That's a good question. Well, it always depends what it is that I'm curious about. So maybe the answer is I start with curiosity. And sometimes the recipes come from like my own experience. I'm trying to sort of maybe I ate, like, here's an example. A few years ago, I was visiting London and I went out to dinner with my friends, and we had this really amazing dish called piri piri chicken. And I don't think I'd ever had it before. I'd heard of it, but I didn't really know what it was. But it was just such a special night that when I came home, I couldn't forget about like how special the night was and how delicious the chicken was. So then I read about piri piri chicken, which is I think it's originally from Portugal. Piri piri chilies, piri piri sauce. Piri piri is a type of very spicy chili. And so they make like a really hot sauce, and then it gets brushed on the chicken. It's like really vinegary and really spicy. And then sort of through colonialism, this dish sort of made its way to South Africa. So nowadays it's more known as like a South African dish. And so I did all this research and I read about it, and I wanted to know like if I'm going to adapt it in my own kitchen at home, how do I honor the traditions and the stories that the recipe comes from, and also make the thing taste as good as possible using my own culinary expertise and give credit to anybody that might have inspired it or a recipe that might have inspired it. So I do work at home. And I have a really tiny kitchen in my house. It's like smaller than most apartments. It's actually smaller than my old apartment kitchen. So I did build a test kitchen, but my test kitchen's pretty small too. But it helps that the test kitchen's separate from my house. So that way I call it like separation of church and state. Like I get to go to work in my little test kitchen, and that's where I keep, that's where really like all the spices are, all the ingredients, all the funny tools that you don't necessarily use at home. But it's just a little studio, it's not super fancy.
Thank you.
How many recipes did you create in total, and how many made into the book?
Oh, for this book, you mean? For Good
hmm
Things?
hmm
What's funny is I have not counted. So when you sell a contract for a cookbook, you tell them, I promise I will turn in X number of recipes. And that's mostly so that once the cookbook is finished, they can write the number on the cover or on the back cover or in the marketing copy when they're trying to sell the book. They'll tell people like 50 new recipes or 100 new recipes. So I just made up a number. I just made up the number 125. And then at some point, like I knew I had at least 125, so I just stopped counting. And then a lot of my recipes are variations, like they're sort of similar to the main one, but maybe a different spice combination or a different flavor combination. So I don't know, do those count as a separate one? It's still
I
a whole
guess.
other amount of work. So I never counted, but I will tell you there's like probably closer to 200 in there if you count all the variations, maybe even more, I don't know. And then but I have a very high number of failures. So I probably on the way to like, let's say 200, I probably had at least 100 failures. So sometimes the failures are things that are just like, I'm like, let me try this idea and see if I can make it work. and the first time I try it, it's disgusting. Or it's like way too, it's maybe it's delicious, but it's really complicated and makes way too big of a dish, a pile of dirty dishes. Because I always have to think about like, I'm not writing this for, my own ego or to impress my cooking friends. I'm writing it to make it useful and delicious for people at home. And people at home don't have their own test kitchen. They don't have usually tons of time. So there are a lot of reasons why things become sort of failures or I cut them out. Sometimes it's also just because it's too ugly, like, or it looks too similar to something else. Because sometimes a big part of making a cookbook is thinking about what it will look like and thinking about what the images will look like and making sure that you're not just flipping the page and everything is like another brown chicken. So even in my chicken chapter, there's only one picture of like a whole chicken and it's really beautiful. And then there's only a few other pictures. That chapter doesn't actually have that many pictures because it's like how many times can I show you a chicken stew? You know what I mean? They all kind of look the same. Like so
That's great.
Thank
Anais, your
you.
turn.
Uh, Hi, Chef Samim. Thank you so much for letting us interview you today.
oh, thanks, Anais.
If everyone can only use three kitchen utensils, what would they be and why?
Okay. I think that's a great question too. I think to me, you want to have a really good knife. So, because honestly, cutting stuff and preparing it with a knife is probably one of the most, maybe it's like the most time consuming task. It's the most sort of important task. And having a good knife makes it a lot easier. And I think a lot of the times people don't want to do stuff because their knives are not sharp or they're like not really good knives. And what's funny is it's kind of interesting, but often like a heavier knife is easier to use than a lighter knife because it has more sort of weight to it. So when you're like trying to chop stuff, it just does more work. So I would say a nice heavy knife. I would say a really good pan. So for me, my good pan is usually either a cast iron pan or a carbon steel pan because those pans get really hot and they keep their heat. So like you can make something really nice and brown. Um, and they just last forever. So a lot of times like with nonstick pans and other kinds of pans, the coating, comes off and you have to replace the pan. But with a carbon steel pan or a cast iron pan, as long as you don't like accidentally throw it into a fire or something, you pretty much will have it forever. And a lot of times people like pass it down to their kids and their grandkids. So I think that's a really good pan or a really good item. And maybe my third one would be oh, you know what? You know what? Well, I know what it is. Okay, so in my new sort of era of cooking, my new favorite tool is the immersion blender. So do you guys know what that is? Like the stick blender? It's like you can use it to
Yes.
make like instead of dumping everything into the blender and doing it on the counter, it's like a stick that you put in the bowl or in the pot. And I use it for so many things in the book that my joke has become everyone who gets a book should get a free stick blender.
Thank you.
Thank you. Poppy?
Do you support kid menus at restaurants, or do you think they should select from the normal adult menu to expand
Oh,
their palate?
oh, interesting. I feel like I love a children's menu. In fact, my best friend Amanda is a director and she directs all these like famous celebrities and she's always wearing like really high fashion clothes. But her very favorite thing is the kids menu. And she always jokes that if she's going to write a memoir, the title's going to be Ordering from the Kids Menu. And I'm staying in a hotel, and every time I'm in a hotel, I always go straight to the kids menu because sometimes you just want to eat like grilled cheese or chicken tenders. So I completely support a kids menu. I also think that a really sort of if it's a priority for people in their family to help like their kids expand their palates. And I also think everyone goes through picky phases. So I don't think it's a great idea to force anyone ever to do something they don't want to do. Because I actually know people who are adults who were forced to eat foods as kids and now they just will never eat them. So I think it's a lot better to let people go through a picky phase and be curious and experiment and taste things. And so I do think like anyone should order off of any menu, honestly.
Yes.
That's great. Megan?
Okay, if you were asked by NASA to prepare a meal for astronauts in the International Space Station, would you accept the challenge, and what do you think you would make?
Oh my God. That's a really good, unique question I've never even thought about or been asked. Um, I mean, the thing about it though, Megan, is like there's all of the science involved, and I don't know anything about the like crazy like
Yeah.
freeze drying and the gravity. But I do think I would accept the challenge because I would like to learn about that. I just have no idea how to even go about beginning to answer that question because like it feels like there are a lot of limitations. Like you probably
Definitely.
couldn't have soup. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
and but I would totally I'm like, what would I make? Probably something not that messy, but I don't know. I don't know what. I don't know.
Okay.
Um,
Anais?
is there a dish that you ate in another country that you had never seen before? And have you ever tried to make it yourself?
Yes, that's a great question. That's actually one of my favorite ways to be inspired. And so, one of my favorite things about traveling is trying foods in a new place, and especially like the traditional foods. And so, let me think of one. Well, here it's not even a dish, it's just an ingredient. But when I went to Japan to film my TV show, I learned how to make miso, like a traditional handmade miso at home, like country style. And that was so cool that I came home and I have been making miso ever since. It's really cool.
Great.
Love me so.
Poppy?
Who inspires you the most in the food world and who not in the food world?
Oh, that's a nice question. Um, Let's see. In the food world, I have to say, like, I saw that you guys, or at least one of you, have interviewed like Chef Jose Andres before.
Yes, that
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, and he's pretty amazing. And the way, like, his commitment to humanitarian work and that like just incredible amount that he has been able to accomplish with World Central Kitchen is so inspiring to me. So that I think is like probably one of the most inspiring people. And then outside the food world, to me, I'm like anybody do I mean, I really think Greta Thunberg's pretty awesome. Like again, she's just so incredible. Like she gets so committed and she's sort of so clear-eyed about her morality and her work that she's willing to put everything on the line and she's so outspoken and I really admire that.
Megan?
I know you have traveled all over the world. Has any place in particular changed your life? And is there a place you haven't been that you really want to visit?
Mm. Changed my life. Probably going to Italy. I lived in Italy when I was 22, from 22 to 24. And I think in a lot of ways, I mean, that changed me in a lot of ways. For one thing, I learned to speak Italian, which even though I don't speak it every day, I still remember pretty well. So that's like pretty cool to have another language inside of me. But I also just really connected with Italian people and Italian culture. And a lot of it in so many ways is very similar to my family's culture. My family's from Iran, and I feel like there are a lot of similarities. And so it's a place I feel really connected to. And also, the thing about certainly living in another country, like, is even if you're really excited to be there and you're there for like this amazing work, it's really hard. It's really hard because you kind of, on the fundamental level, always are just aware that it's not your place, that you're not from there and you're different. And so even though I really loved it there, it was just kind of like there's just a level of work that I felt like I was doing emotionally, but also in my brain, especially in the beginning, I didn't always, I didn't speak Italian right when I got there. And so probably for 6 months every day, like I had a headache because my brain was just processing so much information. So I think the other way that it changed me is it's given me a lot more understanding and compassion for people who live away from home and immigrants and stuff like that. And where I would like to go, I mean, I actually, what's interesting is even though I got to make this show and go to different places, and I have been to some places, there's entire parts of the world I've not been to. So I've never been to South America. I've never been to anywhere. Yeah, I would love to go pretty much everywhere in South America. I would love to visit Peru. I would love to visit Argentina. I would love to visit Brazil. I have not been, I went to China once, but I have not spent that much time in East Asia. I've never been to Southeast Asia. So I feel like there's so much good food in Indonesia and Singapore and Malaysia and Laos and Cambodia. So I would love to go all over there.
Nice.
If the world were ending today, what would your last dish be, and what is your ultimate comfort food that feels especially homey to you?
Hmm. I think the answer might be the same for both, which is like Persian crispy rice. It's called tadig. And so I grew up, my mom is from Iran and my dad was from Iran. And people from Iran, some people from Iran are called Persians. And so like our food, I know two of you are in LA, so maybe you've had Persian food
Hmm.
before. Yeah. But like we are a rice culture. So I grew up like eating rice every day, and rice is definitely my comfort food. In fact, right now I'm on this tour, on my book tour, which means like almost every day I fly to a new city. And so I'm like staying in a lot of hotels and eating just like, you know what I mean? I'm not eating that much home cooked food. It's not, it's kind of takes a toll on you and you're eating all the airplane food. Oh, you want to know my trick for the airplane? This is also related. My trick for the airplane is if you're going to be there and you need to order the meal, you pre-order what's called Asian vegetarian. And so, because it's pretty much always like Indian food or Thai food. So it's like rice, and then it comes with some lentils. And I don't know if you know this is related to your question, Megan, but it's not quite all the way to NASA. It's not quite all the way to a spaceship. But when you are on an airplane, it's like scientifically been proven that your sense of taste is dulled. And part of it is because your other senses are being so sort of maximized. Like you kind of don't even notice it, but the jet engines are so loud that your ears are working overtime. And then the air is being circulated, and so your nose is kind of like confused. And you know, smell is such a huge part of taste. So like when you if you were served the same food on the ground as on an airplane, on the ground it could taste totally good, and then on an airplane it would taste very bland. So on an airplane, usually you want to have food that's more highly spiced, more seasoned with salt, more, just has like more flavor to make up for it to taste like it's normal. So the Asian vegetarian, because it's spicy and it has spices in it, it's usually really good. So yeah, but
It's fascinating. Poppy?
On a podcast, you recently mentioned you bought a $17 mango in LA.
oh, I did.
Where was it and how did it taste? Also, tell me more about the $15 Harry's Berries.
Oh yes. Oh my God. Okay. So I got both of those from a store called McCall's Butcher Shop in Atwater Village. And they have just a really beautiful sort of selection of produce. Another store that's very similar that has like that buys from the same producers is called Cookbook. They have a few locations, but also both of these things, both Harry's Berries and I think Wong Family, the mango was from a family farm in Ventura County called Wong Family Farms, and they're like third or fourth generation mango farmers. And they grow all of these really special varieties of mangoes. And I had heard about these mangoes before for years, but I just had never been in Southern California when they were ripe to get some. And so when I saw them at the McCall's Butcher Shop, I was like, I have to try this. But I have to say, the mango was like the size of a small child. Like it was, I'm trying to see like it was probably like, this is a water bottle. It was like the size, it was like up to here of the water bottle. It was huge. It was over a pound. And it was really sweet. It was really juicy. It was maybe the sweetest mango I've ever had. It was really good. And then the Harry's berries, I know you can get Harry's berries all over LA. That they're also like third or fourth generation family farmers in I think Oxnard, which is also in Ventura County. And they have many kinds of strawberries, but the ones that are like the very expensive ones that are so good that you should buy and not share with anyone. Just eat them yourself standing over the sink. They're called Marat de Bois or fraise de bois, which are French words for like wild berries, basically. So it's Maradebois, Marat de Bois.
Mhm. Thank you.
You talk a lot about community with your Monday night dinners. Could a mediocre dish taste better because a company has such great energy? And can an outstanding dish taste less good in the presence of mediocre company?
To
Also,
me,
do you
yes.
think made with a food made with love and good vibes tastes better?
I do believe that the vibes make it taste better. That I don't know if there's been scientific studies about, but I believe it. And I think your other two questions, the answer is also yes. And I think for that, there have been studies actually about like people's enjoyment. We can look them up. But do you guys, now that you're like burgeoning journalists. So I'm wondering, one of my favorite tools as a journalist is something called Google Scholar. Do you know about Google Scholar?
Not, I do not.
It's really cool. So the website is scholar.google.com. This is an amazing tool for journalists. When I learned about it, I was like, and you can go and type in anything that you're interested about. So like you could say, does eating, do you enjoy your food more when you're eating in a like when you're happy or something, or when you're comfortable, or when you're in a good environment? You could just put in your question, and then it's just a humongous global database of all the scientific studies. And so if there's a study that has been done about your topic, it'll come up. And so then you go through and you read them, and a lot of them are unrelated, but often you'll find at least one study that's related. And so I'm pretty sure that this is the kind of thing like food scientists and sociologists and psychologists have probably studied. So I would be willing to bet that there's a study that would prove that like you enjoy your food more when you're eating with people that you like and when you're happy than when you're uncomfortable. I mean, it's certainly true in my own experience. I also think you could always ask for a little salt and hot sauce. You know what I mean? Like if you need to make it better.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Anais?
Sometimes kids don't like to try new foods. What would you tell them about experimenting with something new?
I mean, I always encourage people to, even if they're like convinced they're going to hate it, just to give it a try, because I think that's kind of the rule in my life is like we try things and then we can sort of decide. And again, like I don't think it's a good idea to force anyone or bully anyone in terms of food. And we all, something I've learned as a cook that's so interesting, and it took me a long time to understand this, is that everybody in the world, no matter how old you are or who you are, is an expert in food. And it's like because you've been eating since the day you were born. And so you have your own expertise in your own life experience of what it is that you like and what it is that makes you happy and nostalgic and what you don't like. And so it's not my job or someone, a food professional's job to tell you what your experience is. It's just my job to say, hey, like this is something really interesting and cool. I like it. You might like it too. Why don't you give it a try? So to me, I think the policy is kind of like open-mindedness overall. And when I have met kids who are picky or just like haven't been exposed to a lot and are maybe a little bit scared, one thing I've noticed that helps people, be more curious is helping in the growing of the food, either in the garden or in the cooking of the food. And so, because usually if you like I don't know, make the dumplings. Like a lot of the kids at my Monday dinner, they help. And so like they might think, oh, a dumpling, like I've never had that. I don't want to eat that. But then if they help make it, they get really curious and they're like, which one was mine? I want to eat that one. So that's a kind of how I like to encourage people.
That's excellent. Poppy?
If you could only use one of the four elements, salt, fat, acid, or heat, for the rest of your life, which one would you pick and why?
People ask this all the time, and I always give different answers. So today, I think my answer would be acid because I grew up, like I said, in a Persian family, and we have very acidic palates. Like we just like everything to be really sour. I always like anytime at a restaurant and I get lemonade, I'm always like, man, I wish it was more lemony, you know, or like I always want to squeeze lemon on top of everything, or just like almost always I'm like, man, this could use a little more vinegar. So I feel like that would be my answer today. Yeah.
Anais?
Um, what are your favorite restaurants in LA and San Francisco?
Great questions. So, this is always changing, so forgive me, but based on my last trip to LA, just kind of one of my comfort places, two of my favorite sort of regular places I always like to get food from. One is called Kismet Rotisserie. Do you guys know that? Yeah. It's like a chicken rotisserie chicken place with salads. Their salad dressing's so good. They have like the fluffiest pita bread. It's delicious. And then in San and my other favorite is called Squirrel. And that's my fr oh you've been there, Poppy. Yeah, it's my friend Jessica's restaurant, and she's just so creative. Like I feel like the food there is just really tasty and delicious, but she does all this sort of creative stuff. So like she has a fluffy pancake. And when you get the fluffy pancake, it's the fluffiest pancake I've ever seen. And I asked her, I said, "What's your secret? Like, how do you make this crazy fluffy pancake?" And she was like, "The secret is the vinegar. It's alive. Like we add living vinegar in it, and that's like puffs it up." So I thought that was really cool. In San Francisco, I love there's a restaurant in the Ferry Plaza building called Lunette that is a Cambodian restaurant that's really delicious. And they have this Cambodian noodle soup that is so special and just really tasty. It's really, really good. And also, my other favorite restaurant is called Rintaro, and it's a Japanese izakaya. It's like a actually Aya, my friend Aya, who photographed my book. The restaurant Rintaro is her brother's restaurant. So we are actually going there on Wednesday to celebrate the book. Yeah.
Poppy, you missed a question.
Yeah, I did. Does your dog Fava travel with you on the book tour, and do you cook
Oh,
for Fava?
Fava has a lot. Fava, I don't think could handle the plane. Like one time I brought her on the plane to Los Angeles and she did not. She kind of flipped out. So she doesn't fly. It's better for her to be home, and then I just get pup dates. You know, like I get many pup dates over the course of the day from the people she's with, and she has a lot of fun without me. So I think it's good for Fava. But I don't cook all her meals. I mean, she eats dog food, but I will say Fava is definitely spoiled. And she sits there like if I'm cooking or I'm eating, she just sits there and gives me like crazy like stink eye. Here, let me see. I actually have a picture from yesterday. She was doing it. Hold please. And I'll add it into the chat. This picture's so funny. She was staying with my girlfriend, and she was just like staring at her, this crazy, crazy stare. Hold on, let me stick this here. You're gonna put it in the chat so you can
Is this
see.
an exclusive?
Yeah, yeah, this is an exclusive. Yeah, yeah, nobody's yet unpublished.
Okay, we
Yeah,
got an
yeah, yeah.
exclusive. Okay.
Here we go. Here, okay, let me go in the chat, and then here we go. This is really funny. You're gonna love it. How do I attach a photo? Is it really? I'm not so. Oh yeah, here. Is this how? Let's see. Is there a easy way to attach a photo? Oh
Mission
no.
Control, is there?
Dragging it in?
I tried. Here. I don't know what this is.
Krista, do you have any help?
Oh,
We have.
here I can capture this. Um. Okay. Sorry, I'm really
No,
bad at this. I'm not a great zoomer. I can take a screenshot. Why don't I just do that? I'll just take
okay,
the whole. Oh wait, here's a file. I got it. Okay. Sorry.
it's okay. Cool.
It's worth it. There we go. This is her just like staring like devilishly. She's just like, let
Aww.
me lick your plate. She just looks so grouchy. Like that's so normally if I'm sitting there and I'm just trying to eat in peace, I put up my hand to block her face because I'm like, I don't want stop looking at me. Yeah.
She's precious.
She's really cute.
Megan? Oh, we have to be mindful of your time, Samin. I
Thank
know
you. If you have a couple more questions, I know I've been giving long answers, so we can do a few more.
we could we could skip the it was a Stephen Colbert Meghan Markle question, and then we could skip that and go to our lightning round.
Okay, cool.
That's quick. So Anais, you start with the first question.
What is your favorite spice and herb?
Ooh, my favorite savory spice is cumin. My favorite sweet spice is cardamom. My favorite herb is cilantro.
What are your favorite cheeses?
Ooh, uh, Parmesan, American cheese, and cream cheese.
Okay.
Nice.
First of all, your dog is so cute. And also,
Thank you.
what snacks do you take on your book tours?
Ooh, good question. I have those, where are they? Those, those little packets of peanut butter. There's like the Justin's peanut butter. I have those because last week I got so hungry. I was dying. I was like, I just needed something. But usually because I'm a food person, there's people bring me so much food. So sometimes another snack I used to ask for, but now it's just gotten to be too much. Sometimes if you ask for it and then it's in every city for 27 cities, by the end of the thing, you never want to see it again. So I actually said, please don't bring me anymore because I want to preserve my love. But there's a snack called Bjorn corn. It's my favorite popcorn. So I ask for that a lot. Also, string cheese and baby bells, I really like because you can sort of keep them in your pocket all day and they're like really good protein.
Nice.
What is your coffee order?
Ooh, I just like regular drip coffee with half and half.
What is the secret password to get into your Monday night dinners?
Oh, you just ask.
As a music lover, what is your favorite music to listen to when you're cooking?
Ooh, again, that really depends on my mood, but I listen to a lot of like Brazilian pop. It's very like Brazilian folk music. Yeah.
That's it. So we're just going to take a quick photo
Okay, great. You
together.
guys were awesome. You did such a good job
Yeah.
preparing. Thank you.
See, okay, 1, 2, 3, and then I know we'll have the video as well. You're amazing, Samin. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
you guys, this is such a cool organization. Yeah, I'm so glad I was able to do this.
Thank you, and
Thank
we
you.
hope to come to your event in LA, and we're going to promote
Awesome.
the heck out of it.
Yeah.
You're awesome. So have a great book tour tonight.
Thank you.
All right, you
Thank
guys.
you.
Let
Okay.
us know if you come. Will you please let Amalia know so you can come backstage and say hi?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, great. Okay.
We'll
I
talk.
already had San Francisco on ice, but I'm sure I'll have more when I'm home. So we'll see if we can get you in person too. Okay. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Take care.
Bye.
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 Bye.